I made $10,000 in about 3 hours trading this one strategy, and I'm going to show you how in this video. I'm going to break down why I entered, what my take profits were, what the reasoning was behind my exit, and the receipts, as well as how much money my students made after I called out this trade. So first, we're going to take a look at the weekly time frame to see why I even took this trade in the first place, why the setup was an A+ setup, and how many pips we caught, if you want to call them that, because I know we're trading crypto in the Forex space, but here's the reasoning behind it. From September 2nd, we formed this leg all the way up, and we had our bull run that everybody was talking about on social media, and we formed our all-time high. We took it out again, which I looked at as a buy-side liquidity sweep, and so I expected us to retrace into a certain point. I marked out this weekly fair value gap. I was looking at this one as well, but of course, if we're trying to go into a discount of the range using smart money techniques, we're going to want to go and dip deeper into this 1 week fair value gap that is right below. If I switch over to the daily chart, we can see a little bit more context as far as what happened. And you can see that we were consolidating this entire range. I was actually in a call with one of my friends in the entrepreneurship space while I was looking at this consolidation range for Bitcoin in the beginning of February to mid-February, and I was telling him we may go down to this area and hit this fair value gap and continue to go higher, or we may break out and go to take out all-time highs after this consolidation area. But the one scenario that would scare a lot of people is dipping down into this weekly imbalance. And the reason why is because when you go from $109,000 to $78,000, that's going to scare a lot of people. But you got to remember, there's a lot of money to be made when people are fearful, and so we looked at this. This was an amazing opportunity to get in. See, I actually missed the tap into this weekly imbalance because I don't trade Bitcoin every single day. I trade mainly the NASDAQ, I trade gold. These are the two assets I trade the most to make my living. But I went down into smaller time frames after I received a call from one of my students. And she asked me to take a look at Bitcoin since she was developing her strategy. So I said, you know what, let's take a look. I went down to smaller time frames and I started analyzing what happened after this imbalance got filled on the weekly time frame. I noticed that we had breaks of structure to the upside. I just needed to go down to a smaller time frame to see exactly what I could find. Now, before these big candles even formed, I want you to ignore that. I saw this happen. So I'm going to redraw it for you guys so you can see it. But I saw two imbalances that formed on the 4-hour time frame. You can see one is right here, this fair value gap, right? The gap in between the first and third candle here. And then this imbalance over here that was a bit higher. Now, it was all about determining which one we'd enter off of. I saw this one happen at 11 p.m. And so I was really tempted to enter that one, but I didn't because I saw that we had equilibrium. From the bottom of this leg to the very top, I wanted to enter a discount because that would be the highest probability entry. And so if I'm going to get into a discount of the range to go long after a 4-hour fair value gap got filled and we tap into this order block, I know that I'm looking pretty good to set myself up. If we go to the hourly time frame, again, we can see these areas in more detail. And so we tap in at around 9 a.m. and I was looking at a 5-minute time frame, so we scale all the way down, and this is the importance of top-down analysis. I scaled all the way down here and I saw that we had these legs right here. Now I'm going to attach a screenshot of the picture when I sent the trade out, which you'll see is right here, and you can see that I sent this trade out at 9:29 a.m. right before the Wall Street Open. Not that it matters because, again, this was a Sunday, so this was the weekend. There was no markets being traded in the Forex market. It was just cryptocurrency at play. I set initial targets and we slapped 4 of them really, really quick. I also had higher time frame targets in case we were going to make that run towards at least the recent swing, which would be near our all-time high. But if we look at that 9:29 candle, when I sent this trade out, let's look to see exactly what I was looking at. Not that I was looking at the 1-minute chart, because again, a 1-minute chart on Bitcoin is a pretty small time frame to trade. Again, I wasn't looking to be too specific with my entry on a small time frame because I know small time frames aren't going to be the key when you're trading crypto like this. So I'm mainly looking at high time frame, and I see that this 4-hour fair value gap is, you know, it's pretty big, but it's small enough that I can work with. And if I set a stop down here, we have a $729 stop, which is really 72 pips off the math that I'm doing. Because if you go off a 0.1 lot and you stop out, 729 is going to be about $72.90. So in a regular aspect of how we'd call a pip, this would be about 73 pips. So my targets need to line up with a good risk to reward, and they were really solid. I'm going to go to higher time frame just to make it easier to look at. But my take profit targets, like you see, I'm going to show them on the screen again. You'll see that these were like 1 to 3, 1 to 5, 1 to 7. And the risk to reward was just absolutely insane to the level that we caught it at, because this was my 5th take profit that we're going to hit. We just missed it by a short range, but by then I'd already pulled out my profits. I saw this retracement happening, and I also saw that to the left, We had a lot of imbalances that we were filling. And when I see exhaustion and momentum after such a strong run up on the 50-minute time frame, I'm seeing 4 legs go down. I'm not going to pull out completely. I left the position running, which eventually just stopped out in profit. But I capitalized and took the majority of my trade out because not only am I seeing numbers that I'm not used to seeing, I know that getting greedy in this type of environment is going to be very dangerous because when you have swings like this that don't happen very often, it's very easy to lose track and just want more. You end up getting into that mindset of wanting to be in the casino and just, hey, you won 3 rounds in a row. It's very unlikely. You go for the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, and then you just lose everything. And so I wasn't going to put myself in a position to do that as I have experience trading in the markets. Although this was my first time trading in Bitcoin specifically through a Forex platform in about 6 or 7 months. I've never really tried it. I tested a couple positions on demo, but never on an account with real funds. So I took the majority of my position out right here at $93,000.90. So after seeing those 3 candles in a row, I knew we'd probably pick up some momentum to the downside. In my mind, I'm like, maybe we'll continue to fill these imbalances as we usually see in Forex. But again, I didn't want to get overconfident with this as I've not traded it often. But I pulled out profit. We secured a huge win, and I couldn't be happier about that. But again, what makes me the happiest is seeing what my team did. And here's an example of what they were able to do. And the reaction, it was just everything to me. Seeing everyday people risk a very small amount of money to make a huge amount of money. And don't get me wrong, these types of trades don't happen very often, especially in a market like crypto. We call it a trade that went up $10,000. And so what's the strategy for those of you that haven't spotted it yet? Well, we talk about smart money. This is what I've used and I transitioned to earlier last year in 2024 to really develop my skill. And I was profitable using methods, but honestly, like I want to say that it was mostly lucky because I'd invested a lot of money, but not necessarily spent so much time day trading. And when I would day trade, I'd go on like on a hot streak and then I'd be done for a few months. Like I'd trade, like 1 month every quarter, maybe 1 month every half year. And then after that, I was already making enough money through my other ventures and my businesses that I'm just like, it doesn't matter. I don't really need to trade much. But I decided to shift that a little bit and actually take it seriously because I did have a huge passion for trading. And so I decided to apply it. But this is what application of your skill can go and do for you in real life. So the smart money entry model that I used was very simple. Again, we didn't really have any big sweeps of liquidity. We had a liquidity sweep on a high time frame at the highs, so I knew we were going to go down lower. But now to see how low, I was going to look at equilibrium, which is premiums and discounts. I used that as tool number 2. And then to go into tool number 3, I used a fair value gap, specifically high time frame fair value gaps. See, there was not much at play with this trade at all, but it was an A+ setup to me because I saw this happen on multiple time frames. Not only was it the weekly, not only was it the daily, I went down to the 4-hour and the 1-hour and saw a lot of overlaps. And when I see stuff like that, especially on the 4-hour time frame where I saw a break of structure, that was the biggest indication for me that we're going to continue to ride this thing up after going down for so long. And while everyone's scared, we're going to make a lot of money, and that's what we did. So these are the 4 key pieces to the trade that allowed me to go in with such confidence and put a lot of money at risk. But relatively, this is what I risk anyways. It's just that the profits were way higher because we climbed to extreme heights. And look, we actually went down after that. And like I said, I stopped out in profit because we decided to go lower, but we ended up going lower into an area that was quite predictable because if we look at the 4-hour time frame, the market wanted to fulfill one other thing after riding that high, and that was going down low into, guess what, another imbalance. And what did it do after it hit that imbalance and this 4-hour order block? We have continued to go up, and I expect this to continue to go up for the next couple of days, if not next couple of weeks. So I'm putting you guys on free game, but that's the strategy behind what I did and how I was able to make over $10,000 trading this simple strategy on an asset that I've never really traded before. Now, if you want to learn a little bit more about these PD arrays that have to do with smart money specifically and how to really deep dive into them, drop a like and subscribe, and I'll create those videos for you so that you can implement them into your trading as early as tomorrow and start getting trades like this. But if you guys want to go and take it to that next level and you actually want to work with me, I have just launched a free trading community for you guys to take advantage of. I'm talking about trade alerts, all the trades that I take personally, sending out to you. A course that explains all of these concepts at the fundamental level. Spontaneous live trainings that I do with other traders in the space that will also be sending out signals in that free channel. And number 4, automatic entries into giveaways that I'm doing, which we give away some crazy stuff. We're giving away trips around the world. We're giving away MacBooks. We're giving away cars at some point. It's just crazy what we do, but you definitely want to plug in, and you don't have to pay me a single dollar. All I got to do is just make sure that you have real money in your account so that you can start getting real results with what I'm giving you for free. Actually, actually, just recording this outro, Bitcoin already went up $1,000. So this stuff works. But with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care and peace.